This is Google Home together with ESPNcricinfo Smart Update. I'm Rana Kapoor. Daren Ganga is with me. And before we get into the update from the West Indies-Pakistan game, the first game for both teams this World Cup, let's find out what that score was that the West Indies blew Pakistan away for, Daren. Okay, Google, what was the score in today's match between West Indies and Pakistan?
The West Indies beat Pakistan by 7 wickets. The West Indies scored 108 for 3 in 13.4 overs and Pakistan scored 105 all out in 21.4 overs.
105 all out. Would you have imagined this? Could you have imagined this?
No, I would not have imagined that. Pakistan were blown away. They would be disappointed with their batting effort. Yes, you are inclined to losing early wickets, but you still would have expected some consolidation and some application. That didn't happen at all. Credit must be given to West Indies and their bowlers. I think what we saw was controlled aggression, which was the right approach against Pakistan. So commendations to Jason Holder, Floyd Reefer, you know, the think tank of this West Indies team. It's refreshing to see that they're planning properly and executing well.
You used a good word in our post-game review, commanding. This was a commanding first game, and Jason Holder seemed like he was happy to just get the first game out of the way, let alone have this sort of result. What can it do for this West Indian team, this kind of result?
Well, it's only 5 players in this West Indies team have played in previous World Cup editions. So a lot of these players, you know, they're very fresh to this World Cup. They'll be excited to, you know, get on, the, you know, in terms of runs and wickets. But this will give them the confidence to go forward to bigger oppositions like India, like Australia, teams that are more competitive, even England. So that is all you would ask for at the start of a tournament. I've seen this West Indies team in the past. If they don't start well on a tour or in a series, it's all downhill. To have a positive start will only do well for this West Indies team in this World Cup.
Yeah, they have big opposition in Australia coming up next to the West Indies. But for that collective effort, that wonderful effort, let's give the West Indies a firm applause, shall we? Okay, Google, applaud. And you could hear the resonance of that through the Caribbean. Now let's look forward to the other games in the World Cup, shall we? And focus on the big doubleheader coming up tomorrow. Okay, Google, what are the matches in the World Cup tomorrow?
Sri Lanka are facing New Zealand tomorrow at 3 p.m. Australia will take on Afghanistan at 6 p.m.
Right, let's start with Sri Lanka v New Zealand. Even, or do New Zealand have themselves ahead?
Slight advantage to New Zealand, you would think. Sri Lanka, they've had their issues at the top of the order with their batting. They've brought in a new captain, somebody who was out of international cricket for a while, Karunaratne, so he will have a big challenge. Their strength sort of lie in their middle order. You think about Angelo Matthews, Tessara Pereira. So this is a team that is still sort of forming. So it will be challenging for them. Remember, New Zealand, they were in the final in the last edition of the World Cup with senior guys like Kane Williamson, Ross Taylor, who's done well in ODI cricket, Trent Boult as well, who's been a leading wicketaker in the last World Cup. I think that's a more formidable unit in this contest.
That's one. That's the first game on Saturday in Cardiff, and after that, the title defence officially begins of the Australians, and it's an Australia with a renewed sense of optimism and hope. And they've got, I wouldn't say with no disrespect, just Afghanistan ahead. Can Afghanistan slay the Giants?
No, you would see competitiveness, but anyone who follows the game of cricket will know that Australia will take a big advantage in this contest. And that's purely on what they've produced in recent time. Their form, impeccable going into this World Cup, and the addition of 2 big-name players. Steve Smith, he's devastating with the bat, scored a century just before in the warm-up matches. And then David Warner. I mean, I don't think there are adjectives to describe this guy. His hunger, his thirst, you would see that coming to the fore in production of runs.
All right, many thanks, Daren Ganga. That's the second game, of course, in Bristol in the World Cup. Now, of course, you can get ESPNcricinfo's daily news on your Google Home as well as your Google Assistant on the phone. Thanks very much to Daren. This was Google Home together with ESPNcricinfo Smart Update.